And a good Monday. Welcome in, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. He is Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe. Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier with you on the ones and twos as well. Good to be back after a little bit of a Thanksgiving Day break or weekend break. What's up, JoJo? How are you?
Hey, man, what's going on? I'm in. Okay, let me see. My headphones are over here. My microphone's over here. All right, I'm good, man.
Why are your headphones over there?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Luckily, I made it to work today.
I never know what's going on, so
Good call,
that's okay.
man. But what a weekend, man. I mean, Saturday, all the games was just amazing. College football is amazing. Everything that went down on Saturday, that Alabama-Auburn game, good Lord.
What's Stoops up to?
Oh, goodness. I want that job. Hey, Mark, you know how to read some of these tweets and texts that are coming in. Yeah, I don't want that job now.
Never mind.
Yeah, I'll pass on that.
I'll stay in Lexington.
Yeah. My goodness. But I was on the plane coming back from Texas when the Iron Bowl happened. So when we landed there, I think I texted you guys. You're like, this was better than the pick six. I was like, or the kick six.
Ricky said that. I don't know if I'm going to go that far. But
pretty close. And I was like,
close.
Then you watch, you're like 4th and goal at the 31, and they completed a touchdown pass? What nonsense is this? And then, my goodness, and then just everything else that happened on Saturday. Just a lot of fun, man.
Well, the Titans beat the Panthers yesterday at Nissan Stadium, and it has cost Frank Reich his job. He has been fired as the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, and not too surprised by that.
I can guarantee you right now he will not get a third chance.
No.
You know why? The Third Reich.
Oh, boy.
He will not he will not get a chance to ever be a head coach again.
I kind of bid on that, but that was good.
Well, I don't want it to be good. No, I don't. But he's nice guy. I mean, I heard he's a great assistant coach.
He's a good coordinator. Like I think the demand will be there for him to be an offensive coordinator.
Sure. So the blanket statement, he's a terrible coach. No, he's not a good head coach. But he's a good assistant coach, and he'll land on his feet someplace else. But
I mean, and look, the Jared's been saying this a lot lately, and he's not wrong. The NFL is not fair. And you can make the argument that he should have been given more time. He has a rookie quarterback. They have absolutely nothing around him, but it's not fair, man.
You know when you know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that team's not getting – that team was awful. That's why – the win yesterday over them was kind of like, yeah, okay. I mean, a win is good, but that was, man, and it was so bad.
Yesterday, and Brett Kern's going to join us at 9:30. He and I were texting during the game, and he said to me, he goes,
buddies.
Yeah, we are. He goes, this is what happens when you play complimentary football. And that's exactly what the Titans did yesterday in their win over the Panthers. You had the offense that, still didn't look great, but they did their job. The defense obviously did their job. And then special teams did their job as well. And so you had all three phases doing what they needed to do, and they got the win yesterday against Carolina. And like you said, that was one of those that they were kind of in must-win territory. They needed it, and they got it done.
Hey, Carolina's terrible, right?
Yep.
But it's a win. A win is a win is a win, no matter who you beat, how you beat them, where you beat them, or by how many points you beat them. A win is a win. 5 years from now, we'll look back and say, hey, the Titans improved to 4-7. Nobody cares that Carolina was terrible. They beat them. They moved on. And now, you got 6 games left in the season. Now you just go game at a time. You got the Colts coming to town next week, and then you go on the road to Miami. And the schedule is not easy going forward, but you're still in it. You're not out completely.
No, and you're undefeated at Nissan Stadium, so, you should capitalize on that and try and get that win over the Colts. That would be a huge division win for them. Little revenge from what happened earlier in the year, because that's the other thing to consider. They've only played, what is it, one division game or two division games now with Indy and Jacksonville. So you still have time to make up some ground in the division, starting this weekend at Nissan Stadium. But I thought that, we'll talk about Will Levis and kind of his evaluation. I thought he was okay yesterday. I mean, there's some throws that, he still, I think, needs to improve upon. And there's going to be, there was one that it was in the fourth quarter that he had D-Hop wide open and didn't see him. And I think if you look, and they even noted this on the broadcast, when he goes and watches the film, he's going to go, oh.
But, again, I think it's now I'm going to drop back and get hit. And I think he
Yeah,
realized
yeah.
that. I mean, Radence was awful yesterday. I mean, he can't block anybody. I mean, I don't know. I want to know the evaluation, and we'll never be told this when John Robinson and Vrabel evaluated him, what they saw.
I don't know because he didn't play football for like 2 years. So
Terrible.
I don't
Absolutely
I don't get that one at
terrible.
all. Spend a second-round pick on him. He's not. I mean, he's not a 6th-round pick right now.
No,
Like,
I mean, he might make it in arena ball. I mean, he's
Maybe.
that bad.
yeah, he's terrible.
I don't get what they saw in him.
Yeah, I don't either. What'd you think of Duncan? Jalen Duncan getting his first start yesterday. They put him at left.
Didn't hear his name a lot, which is good.
Yeah, I know he had a false start, but so did I think everybody on the offensive line had at least one. But you know what I loved about the broadcast? So Adam Amin and Mark Schlereth did the call yesterday. You know,
Right.
Schlereth is a 3-time Super Bowl champion offensive lineman, and so I've always liked him because he doesn't hold back. Adam Amin, every time he said, well, the Titans committed a couple of dumb penalties, like I
Right.
started laughing. I'm like, oh, yeah, tell it like it is, man.
Wouldn't it be good if we had an announcer just be completely honest with the whole time? I mean, I know the color
what I
commentators
want.
kind of do that, but exactly. And I saw I got a few tweets to me when Schlereth talking about 3rd and 1 going from the shotgun. How I'm just
Oh, yeah.
it just
I texted
drives
you.
me insane. When you have 3rd and 1 and you line up in a shotgun, I lose my mind on that. So yeah, that was nice. But they got the win. You move forward. I mean, wasn't pretty. I like seeing Derrick Henry again. I wish they would hand the ball to Derrick Henry 30, 35 times a game. Just let him go and pound people because he's going to wear you down. And it was good to see him get in the end zone twice yesterday. Somebody tweeted out, and I can't find it. There's some stat. He got into a category now of only 10 other running backs have ever been. Something with
reached 9,000 yards before the age of 30.
Okay, that's it. Thank you. And 80 touchdowns? Was that part of it too?
Maybe. I'll double check for
I mean, so again, and it'll be interesting to see the offseason with Derrick Henry what happens. But right now he's a Titan, and just ride him as far as you can.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they need to do because that goes to what I was talking about with playing the complementary football, and Mike Vrabel actually commented on that after the game yesterday.
Well, I mean, that's another great example. The other great example is right after that is, they're trying to get some yards there and try to kick a field goal, and we stop them, force them to punt. We don't have any timeouts. They took our last timeout there with the injury, and offensively we turned that into 3 points and executed a down clock in 11 seconds. Great execution there by our guys and great kick by Nick. So that's probably those 2 great examples. We just need more of them.
I thought that was really important there at the end of the half to get those 3 points to to go up 17. I guess it was 17-3 at that point. Carolina would score out of the half, but that would be it. That would be the only score. Now, the Titans didn't score in the second half, but the defense did their job. But to be able to get that 3 points there at the end with no timeouts, and we'll get to that hit on Tajay Spears in a second because I know we both have some thoughts on it. I know. A lot of people have thoughts on it, but I thought that was good and definitely the definition of complimentary football.
I know this isn't Titans related, but the play of the week, the play of the weekend, I guess play of the weekend was Alabama and Milroe and the touchdown pass. But the NFL play of the week, and I tweeted this out, that he should be in consideration for MVP, and people laughed at me. Then some people started like, you know what? You might be onto something. Jason Kelce as a center for the Eagles is simply fantastic. The way on that final touchdown against Jalen Hurts, where he snapped the ball, pulled, and crushed Tyrell Dotson on a blitz, might be one of the best offensive line plays I've ever seen at any level in the history of football. I mean, you watch it and see, snaps the ball, sees Dotson creeping up. I mean, it's hard to see down the line, but Kelce doing that, I mean, that's effort, and you want to see that every time, and that's a lot of things we haven't seen with the Titans this year is that kind of effort. But Kelce just crunched Tyrell Dotson, who played at Centennial, And then Hurts got in the end zone, scored the game-winning touchdown. What a play, man!
That was
is
a
football.
fun ending.
Oh yeah,
That game.
Did you see Josh Allen's record now? In over, the Bills lobbied for different overtime.
Yeah.
He's now 0-5 in overtime games. They're done. That team,
They're done. Look,
6-6. They're done.
They're done. I think they're going to miss the playoffs. I told you a few weeks ago when we did I'm done. I'm done with Josh Allen and the Bills.
You
I
did.
think they're overrated. I've thought it for a while, and now everybody's seeing it. The Eagles did not play their best yesterday. Obviously, you had rain and everything. And what was funny is when they were on that final drive, I texted Brett because he obviously knows Elliott, the kicker, played there last year. I said, can he hit from 60? And he goes, not in this – I mean, maybe, but these conditions, I wouldn't try it. And what does he do? He nails it.
Was it 58?
59.
59. But that A.J. Brown catch and drop, man.
Yeah, I know.
But
Unfortunately, we've seen that before.
But I think it was the right call. I mean, because he, like I said, he didn't get the Gene Steratore. They went to Steratore, and they was like, Gene, what do you say? He's like, not a catch. And they were like, okay. And it was like this 2-second pause. Like, Gene, you want to, kind of give it more in depth on that?
I didn't. I mean, my initial thought was he did not make a football move. They always emphasize a football move,
Right.
whatever that is. And I thought he didn't take the third step.
He didn't. But he was jumbling the ball anyway. It was all juggling.
And so
anyway,
to me, there was not enough to say that's a catch.
Correct. Yep. And then if that had been a catch and fumble, the game was over because
Yep.
Romo was screaming that from the booth. But it happened, and then the Eagles won. And look, something else too as well. Why would the Eagles ever go back to their uniforms now after wearing those Kelly
I
green
love
ones?
those Kelly green.
Like so good, man.
Look awesome. 615-737-1025. Your reaction to the Titans win yesterday. A big weekend. Mike says on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, the Titans beat the worst team in the NFL. The Predators beat one of the best teams in the NHL. And the Vols beat Vandy. What a weekend. Predators win 5 straight with
That's
that
great.
win last night over Winnipeg. They are in fuego, as Dan Patrick likes to say. But we'll take your calls, your texts, and also a controversial play that had Twitter abuzz yesterday in the Titans game. We'll discuss that next. Chasing Big Joe on a Monday, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
you think of the Spears play with the defender keep his head up?
I saw one quick replay, and I didn't think that the launched or those are bang plays. I didn't see a player that launched in a linear position. I'm sure they saw the same thing. I didn't see the replay other than quickly on the film.
So you don't have a huge debate with the way it was officiated?
What am I going to debate? They pick flags up, they throw flags. Whatever it is, we got to overcome it. We overcame it on third down. We've had probably 6 third down conversions by penalty the last 2 weeks, so there's not much to debate.
That was Mike Vrabel yesterday after the Titans 17-10 win at Nissan Stadium over the Carolina Panthers. Chase and Big Joe back here, 102.5, 106.3, the game presented by Regal Realty Group. And, Joe, I will just go ahead and let you lead off on this because I know that Twitter was a buzz about it. Obviously, everybody reacting. The Tyjae Spears play at the end of the half where they lost the timeout because of it. But he was hurt, but okay, ultimately.
Right.
But it was one of those, as Mike described it, a bang play that probably looked worse than it actually was.
All right, a few things on this. From the Carolina Panthers standpoint, what do you want him to do? Let Spears catch the ball? I mean, that was a clean hit with the shoulder, didn't leave his feet, both going for the ball. I don't know what you want him to do. Catch the ball, then tackle him? No, I mean, I'm going to take your head off legally, cleanly, if I can, and do that. Then the overreaction from a guy like Joe Rexrode. I mean, to sit there and just go off on that without watching the replay was just asinine. And just let the replay play out. There's a reason they did not call it targeting or everything else or an illegal hit, whatever. Go to the replay and see. It was the correct call. And, football is a violent sport. The fact that we lose sight of it being a violent sport just really irritates me. Kissing your girlfriend's a contact sport, right? Football's a violent sport. You sign up for that, okay? It wasn't a legal hit. It was a clean hit. I don't know what the Carolina got to do. The media is like, oh, throw a flag. Eject that guy. I was so happy to hear Vrabel say that was a clean hit. I was so happy to hear the refs say that's fine because football's trending in a way that it's becoming flag football. And it was so good to see that yesterday of picking the flag up and saying it's not a legal hit, it's a clean hit, and go forward. I mean, now the refs will throw a flag regardless, and I've come to accept that. And the back judge throws a flag; he's 30 yards down the field and throws a flag. But then the media members start hopping on. Well, that's a terrible call, and then the fans, that's a terrible call, and just let it play. I don't know what you want the guy to do. Please tell me what you want the guy to do, who's the defender for Carolina on any team. Right now, there was a blatant hit last week. The Pittsburgh college game. I forget who they played, maybe Boston College. Well, that dude left his feet, went head to head. That guy should be ejected from football for a year.
Sure.
That was blatant. That was awful. That was calculated. That was intentional. Get rid of that guy out of the game. The guy for Carolina was perfect. That was a perfect hit. I don't know what you guys want people to do anymore. And it's sad because a lot of you guys want to turn it into flag football. And when I saw Joe's tweet, I was agitated, and I shouldn't let Twitter get me agitated or X, whatever. That just set me off. And then I saw a few of the people like, oh, you can't do this. I was like, stop it. It's football. These guys sign up for it, okay? If it's illegal and it's a bad hit, fine him, eject him, take him out of the game, but let it play out. And that was a clean hit, and I'm glad to hear Vrabel say it was fine, and I'm glad the referees, who have been much maligned all year long, say that was a good hit, no flag on the play. Well done, move on. I was just livid reading all this stuff about it.
Yeah, and I know you were because we talked about
Yeah.
it, and that you definitely were not happy with it. I mean, look, I thought it was a clean hit. You know, I love the fact that the officials could huddle up and discuss it and go, "Hey, what did you see? What did you see?" I mean, if they came out at the end of the year and they go, "We're going to review every penalty," like, I know that would slow the game down and that would piss some people off,
Sure.
but I would rather them get it right than not get it right. And if that's what they got to do, then that's what they got to do.
Right.
But I'm glad that they took the time to discuss it, huddle up, and then ultimately pick the flag up. I'm glad that Tyjae's okay. It, like you said, though, it's a violent sport.
It is.
And this kind of ties into, and I'm not going to get into a whole tirade on society and everything, but it does kind of tie into the softness sometimes.
It does.
And
Thank
it's
you.
like, you may not like there are calls that I don't like that go against my team, but if I feel like it's the right one, then I'll go, hey, a rule's a rule. They got it right. I don't have to like the rule.
Right.
But that is what it is. And on that, being a clean, hard hit, that's what it was.
Well, so I not to make it about myself, but I will. So in college, I got my sternum cracked on a crackback block. They're illegal now, right? You can't do those anymore.
And there's a reason that they're illegal now.
Because I had a cracked sternum, and I thought I was going to die on a football field, and I couldn't breathe. And the ref stood to me and said, God, that looked like that hurt. But that was a clean play, right? So I couldn't yelp and complain because that was a clean hit. And yesterday, that was a clean hit. And here's another thing. All right, for example, you've been to a hockey game, right? You sit on the front or second row.
Yep.
You
been
see
to a
how
couple.
fast and big those guys are?
Yep.
So you're a ref in hockey or in football. Things happen. These guys are huge. They're fast. They're quick. I get throwing the flag, okay, because you want to go ahead and review.
Sure.
I understand that, right? But I also understand the review part of this and go back and see and huddling up and saying, all right, what'd you see? What'd you see? Let's go to the booth. Hey, it was clean. Let's look at it. Fine, and move on. I mean, it happened so fast. I understand the stoppage in play, but just the rush to judgment, just to call these people out and do that is asinine and just, I don't know, it just irritated me. But again, what do you want the Carolina guy to do? He did everything proper, did not leave his feet. They're going for the ball, and he leveled Tajay Spears with his shoulder into his shoulder upper body. It was a clean hit. That's how they're, and it starts in youth football. Then the junior high, then high school, and then college. You start teaching tackling better. You start teaching don't lead with your head anymore, and guys are knowing that and doing that. And it's going to get better. Give it time to do all that. But the fact that people just screaming that eject him, and it was terrible. Again, so relieved that the NFL and the refs said, look, that was a clean hit. And to hear Vrabel, who knows football more than we do,
Sure.
for 14 years in the NFL, to say that was a clean hit, that just makes me feel good.
Yeah. And I mean, you could tell he didn't want to spend a ton of time talking about it, but from what he saw, he was like, look, I think it was a clean hit. And I feel like that's something that sometimes we need to remind ourselves of, is that, as you have said, and a lot of people agree with you on the text line, it's a violent sport.
It is.
It's not, and you know that. Like, I hate the phrase, you know what you signed up for, but I mean,
That's right.
You know what you signed up for.
I mean,
you know what you're getting into.
Coach always said, kissing your girlfriend's a contact sport. Football is a violent sport. Know that.
Yeah.
And when the Carolina guy hit him, he saw the flag. He's like, he was like, I did nothing wrong. He was pointing at his shoulder. I don't know what you want him. Now, if he had gone out and left his cleats and just blasted Spears in the head, hell yeah, throw him out of the game, because that's illegal and wrong. But again, that was a clean hit, and they're teaching more of that now. You're not leading with your head. And if you lead with your head now and you get knocked out, the defender, if you lead with your head, that's on you. That's on you. Don't tackle with your head. Hell, we knew that in junior pro football. You don't tackle with your head. And I don't know, it was textbook yesterday by the Carolina defender.
Yeah. 100%. So I think they got it right, and you and I are on the same page on that. I mean, feel free to weigh in. A couple of texters on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Dustin in Hopkinsville, I agree. My first thought is don't be biased. It looked bad, and I said he will be ejected. Then I saw a replay from two angles, and it was just bang, bang. I said that was a clean hit. I'm not being biased. Sucks because it was a crucial hit to our guy, but a clean hit.
Yeah, thank you. That's exactly right.
And look, it's fine in the moment, just like an official. Like, watching in real time, like, my initial reaction was like, oh, that was kind of dirty. And then you see it again, like, oh, no, it wasn't. Like, that's why we have replay. Like, it's okay to change your mind. That's another thing. It's like everybody thinks that once you have an opinion, like the first time, that you are just glued to that, and you can't change your mind based on new evidence. Right. I disagree.
Exactly. I love Joe Rexrode to death. I think he's a fantastic writer. If you disagree and argue, that's fine. And that's
sure.
But I disagree with them on that, and a lot of other people going that way. But then, again, Vrabel comes out and says that was clean, let's move on and all that. And I find that, but happens so often that we overreact to things like that. Just drives me insane.
What do you think of this? This is from Dylan. If a receiver or tailback can be hit that way legally, then a quarterback needs to be able to be hit that way as well, especially if he still has has the ball, but for some reason you can only tackle them at the waist and not the chest, and you better not fall on them because Lord forbid that will kill the quarterback, and then there's a huge flag.
Yep, I'm with you. I mean, I mean, there is a kind of contradiction in all that, but they're going to protect the quarterbacks. I mean, the quarterbacks are the stars. We all know this, and they're going to protect the quarterbacks as much as they can.
We'll have to get to this later, but Paul says the UT double hit on the Vandy quarterback was more controversial than the Spears hit, and that wasn't illegal either.
Yeah, I mean, but the play had stopped, right?
Yeah.
The play had stopped, and the ref did not, and the whistle was blown, and the Vol guys didn't let up. I mean, that was
right, and that's why Clark Lee was mad. And that I get. Like, if the whistle's been blown and
stop,
and you stop the play.
We were taught you get 2 steps, right? Because I can't slow down in 2 steps. 3 steps I probably can. 2 steps you can't. And I didn't hear the whistle. I just saw the replay. And if they had 4 or 5 steps and they still did that, then that's a fault of the refs. I mean, some of these refs got to get this game under control, and that was bad.
Oh yeah, we can do a whole show on the refs and getting the game under control. Coming up next, we'll talk to Brett Kern, former Titans punter. We'll get his thoughts on yesterday's win. Titans get it at Nissan Stadium. We'll do that next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McCabe and Big Joe Dubin here on this Monday. The Titans get the win yesterday at Nissan Stadium. We say hello now to former Titans punter Brett Kern, who's on the line with us. Brett, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Already hit the dentist up this morning, 7 a.m. teeth cleaning. So I got my Monday, fresh off turkey week break. Kids are back at school. Good morning so far.
That's a productive morning.
So that's how the other half lives out there. Got it. Writing that down right now.
That's right. And it was great. I didn't have to worry about a weigh-in this year. Retired now. I didn't have to, Thanksgiving, you want to be able to enjoy, what the wife cooks, what's presented in front of you. And then, sometimes you have that weigh-in on Friday morning just kind of lurking over your head. So I know there's probably a good chance that the steam room, the sauna are very popular places on Fridays post-Thanksgiving in NFL locker rooms.
Yeah, that is for sure. Titans get the win yesterday. You and I were texting throughout the game, and you used the phrase, that's what happens when you play complimentary football. Mike Vrabel talked about that in his post-game press conference. And I feel like we saw that. The offense did their part. Yeah, it was only 17 points, but it was enough. The defense had the turnover. They had 4 sacks. They did their part in special teams as well. I in particular, really liked that sequence at the end of the first half where they're able to get the Nick Folk field goal. What did you see on that and overall from the win yesterday?
Yeah, I think especially that first half, with complimentary football, that's huge. Anytime you can flip the field position, get him pinned down there, and especially an offense like Carolina. I kind of feel like Carolina and Tennessee are kind of mirrored in a sense of you have your quarterback, but you're kind of the weapons around him, or maybe the offensive line isn't going kind of as you want it to. So, if you keep pinning them deep, the odds of them going that full length, right, is not going to happen very often. So they did a great job pinning them deep. Obviously, the strip sack, Big Jeff had a heck of a game yesterday picking it up. And then you're giving your offense a short field, you score, and then the same thing, your defense comes out at the end of the half or right before the half, and you go out there, you stop them, you make them punt, you go down clock, boom, execution. Nick Folk goes out there, drains a 50-plus yard field goal, and now you get points. That's 10 points really off complimentary football when you're playing a team like Carolina who's struggling offensively, right? That's all it took.
So on the sidelines, and they talked about this during the Titans game. We saw this during the Eagles and Bills game, and in that one in particular, Romo was talking about that you have your Mayday package where you don't have a timeout and you got to get the field goal unit out there as quickly as possible. How much are you guys talking about that on the sideline if that scenario comes up, and how crazy can that be?
Yeah, what's crazy is that's probably the one thing on special teams that we practice consistently every Saturday at walkthrough, hurricane operation, down clock, those two things, because that's a situation that you can easily mess up, right? Whether it's, I've seen it before where the offensive line is coming off the field and they've run into the field goal team unit that's coming out, and it takes off 3-4 seconds because guys aren't coming off the field the right way. And next thing you know, they don't get the field goal off in time. And so it's a situation that I know Coach Vrabel, we practiced it every single Saturday at walkthrough, hurricane, down clock. And it's something that even, during the game you're talking about with the special teams coordinator, sometimes the assistant coordinator, with the kicker, with, the punter, the snapper, you're all in communication like, hey, we have one timeout. We're still good. We're good. Now there's no timeouts. Hey, alert hurricane. And then when it's under, some teams, they say 15 seconds, some are 17 seconds. It kind of depends on where you're at. There's a time where it's like, okay, hurricane, you can't execute this play. And so now it becomes, okay, now it's in the offense's hands. What are they going to do, right? You're going to waste time, throw it out of bounds. Just obviously there's a lot that can go on, but that's a play that, and I only had to do it once in my whole career, 15 years. I only had one hurricane, but it was definitely a play that I practiced the most.
Talking to former Titans punter Brett Kern this morning. You know, Brett, what's funny is that, the Titans been a team like the Panthers who we know are terrible. But, fans make me laugh because they're like, big win, but, you should have beat that team. I mean, right, never apologize for a win, correct, no matter who you're playing.
Absolutely not. Last time I checked, I don't think Tiger Woods apologized for, maybe spraying a tee shot to the right, hitting one under the trees to 5 feet and getting a birdie, and then said, hey, you know what? I really didn't deserve that birdie after that tee shot. So you know what? Just give me a par, right? That kind of feels what I should have gotten. No, absolutely not, right? And so a win's a win. I don't care who you're playing, like whether it's Carolina or a team that's you go to Arrowhead and you get a win. Like it's just a win's a win, and you take them because it's so hard to win on Sundays, no matter who you're playing, because really the talent difference. I mean, between you're looking at Philly's roster and Carolina's roster, there's obviously a difference. But really, if Carolina goes out and they have enough talent, enough pieces that if things go their way, some bounces. I mean, you look at one of Jalen's passes yesterday, tipped, boom, Buffalo interception, great field position, right? You never know when those bounces are going to go your way or they don't go your way, right? Detroit, right on Thanksgiving. I never, with the fumbles that Jared Goff had, right? So I just, you never know. And so that's why a win's a win. You take it when you take it.
The Panthers this morning, I don't know if you heard, they fired Frank Reich this morning after the loss to the Titans. You haven't been on a team where a head coach was fired in the middle of the season, but there have been coaches let go. Who? Yeah, Wissenhunt. Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I was more thinking of the coordinator part of this because sometimes coordinators get let go here and there. What's it like, okay, when Wissenhunt got fired, what was it like? How did you find out? What was the mood like after that?
I could see the locker room was probably – Wiz had a year under his belt, and then going into the next season was just kind of a disastrous start as well. So Frank was obviously – and the owner in Carolina, Taper, he just fired the coach of Charlotte FC, right? The guy's been the coach for 2 years, almost got to the playoffs, and he canned him. So obviously he's quick to pull the trigger. And you feel for somebody like Bryce Young because here you are, you have all these expectations as – a number one pick, and then now I'm going to have a new coach, probably going to have a new coordinator, and that starts the cycle of, it's really, really hard to get out of, right? Because you're trying to get consistency at that position, and when you start firing guys left and right, it becomes a disaster for them. So it's weird. Obviously, during the middle of the season, it's just, you come in and it's amazing how fast they can clean out, a whole coach's office, right? Because the head coach, he's got a pretty decked out office, right? There's a lot of things on the walls and on the shelves and all that kind of stuff. And you walk in and it's, I remember when Wiz got fired, I think I came in at 7:30 in the morning to get in the hot tub and cold tub, and his locker or his office was already clean. And so it's just crazy how fast that can happen. But, it's just, it's part of the business.
When something like that happens, like when Wissenhunt was fired, is it immediately the guys start talking, you start conversing, you're like, oh, what in the world's going on? And after that, did Malarkey just have a meeting and say, here's what's happening then? Because I got to think the time is of the essence when something like that happens in the middle of the season.
Yeah, it happened on a Monday, obviously this morning, so that's a lot of time between probably your first team meeting on Wednesday. But I remember when Wiz got fired, like I said, I was in the cold tub and hot tub. I remember talking to Luke Stalker, who's, now on staff now at Vrabel, and he was saying, gosh, man, I really hope, they give it to Malarkey because I love him. He's a great coach. I think he'd do a great job of finishing the season out. I think he'd actually have a chance of getting the job come time for, whenever they do interviews. So there's definitely chatter, and who finishes out the season obviously is probably going to be somebody on your staff, which is fine. But then the talk already then becomes, okay, well, who are they going to bring in next year, right? Here's another coaching change. Roster turnover is 50%. When there's a coaching change, and I think guys definitely there's a lot of talk and guys get nervous, and because your job's at stake whenever there's a new coach coming in.
Brett Kern is with us. What did you think about Will Levis, and how would you evaluate him to this point as the Titans starting quarterback?
Well, I think he's your quarterback of the future for sure, and I think it's just a matter of how can you build around him? What are the pieces that you can put in place to help him be what he is, right? I mean, some of the throws he makes are unbelievable. I mean, he missed, D-Hop open on one. He missed actually D-Hop on a couple times, and he had that screen where he kind of pump faked the screen and Burns jumped up, and I thought he was going to pick it off, actually. But so there's still, some growing pains a little bit here and there that he's going to work out. He's going to figure them out, right? But some of the throws he makes, sidearm, he moves his feet well. Honestly, when he goes out there, like, he wants to win, and you can see it. And he's willing to do whatever it takes. And so I think the important thing is how can you build around him? Because if this is your guy, obviously you have him cheap for the next 2 to 3 years potentially. So how do you take advantage of that, right? With all the cap space that they got, and watching. I had the YouTube TV split screen yesterday, so I was able to watch Jacksonville and Houston play along with the Titans in Carolina, and just seeing what Houston's done in a sense of, I mean, they potentially have 2 Pro Bowl tackles, right, and the weapons that they have around C.J. Stroud, right, it's making a huge difference. And so I think the Titans just need to find the weapons and the pieces to be able to protect them, because he's your guy for the future.
Well, real quick before we let you go, you and I were also talking about this. Jake Elliott hits the 59-yarder to tie it to force overtime, a wild one between Philadelphia and Buffalo yesterday. That is not an easy situation to be in, even as it's the holder with the rain and everything there in Philly yesterday.
Oh man, I wish I could. I should have gone back and deleted that text that I sent you. The percentage chance of hitting that field goal, extremely low. But he hit that like low stinger kind of golf shot, and that thing, he played the wind perfectly, a little left to right, and I'm sure the field conditions were not great up there, but he is. I remember just being up there with him last year, and I told him, I was like, man, for how good you are kicking in this stadium, I said, you need to go to Mr. Jeff's office and say, hey, get a pay raise, right? So he was clutch. That's a clutch kick, and he's one of the best.
Yeah, it was awesome for sure. Hey, appreciate it as always, and we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good. Y'all take care.
You too. Brett Kern, former Titans punter, joining us here on the show as he does every Monday at 9:30. We'll continue to take your reaction to the Titans' win over the Panthers yesterday. But as Joe mentioned earlier, it was a wild weekend in college football on and off the field. We will discuss coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. Chase McKay, Big Joe Dubin, Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier here with you on this Monday, live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. Wild weekend in college football. Now, on the field and off the field.
Correct.
As we had the Iron Bowl, as we mentioned, and what took place there as Alabama gets the win, and so Alabama-Georgia next week. I'm not as convinced that, going into this week, I'm like, Alabama's going to beat Georgia in the SEC championship game. Now I'm not as convinced. Now I'm second-guessing myself after one game.
I'm with you, man.
But it's the Iron Bowl. Like nobody should be surprised that there's drama in a rivalry game.
No, not at all. And what a way to end that game and give it to Alabama. I mean, they battled. Give it to Auburn. I mean, they stayed in it, but Alabama just always finds a way to win, and they won that game. But now they go into the SEC championship game, and there's a lot of emotion they left on the field at Jordan-Hare Stadium. And now you got to play Georgia. It's going to be I know Alabama fans travel, but there's going to be a lot of Georgia fans there. Now you got to redo it again, and Georgia's just waiting. And I think Kirby's done a good job of making it Georgia versus the world. Everything I'm reading down there about Kirby and the football team and how nobody believes in us and they're laughing at us, he's done a good job at that. And I think that Georgia football team is going to come in fired up on Saturday.
And then, you obviously had the coaching stuff that took place as well. And the biggest one was – and I was seeing some comparisons, and maybe there are some comparisons to this, but – the Schiano stuff with UT. I don't know if it was quite to that level, but it comes out, I guess, Saturday night. Mark Stoops is going to leave Kentucky and become the head coach at Texas A&M.
Right.
That is it's breaking everywhere. And this is like one of those late at night kind of things that everybody that knows everybody is reporting it. And then as we get into the wee hours of the morning,
sources
start saying like, well, it's not a done deal yet. It's not a done deal yet. And sources are, telling us some stuff. And then all of a sudden he tweets out like, no, I'm good. I'm going to stay at Kentucky.
Yeah. The rumor mill flying is that there was contact. He admitted there was contact between another school and him. And all sources were that he was going to take that. And then there was a lot of A&M fans just got insanely upset. And evidently there were Stoops was reading some of these and his people close to him reading some of these, and they're like, yeah, we're good. We're good right where we're going to stand right now. And he pulled his name out of that. Now, is that something that A&M floats out? At first I thought it was something A&M floats out there, right? Like, hey, let's gauge the reaction. But when Stoops commented on that and said, hey, there was contact, we talked about this, where there's smoke, there is fire. Now, I've been on record. If Florida fires Napier, I think Stoops goes for that job in Florida.
Yeah.
I think that's better suited for him to go down there and take that job if Napier's let go. We've talked about this. But it was a crazy 3 or 4 hours for Mark Stoops and A&M fans like, no. And they hired Mike Elko, who's got he was a DC there under Jimbo for a few years. Did a great job at Duke. That's a great hire for A&M.
I love that hire.
Now you just move forward.
I think what A&M needed to do, and I think Stoops fits this too, but A&M needed to they did not need to go get the sexy name. Like, just go get a good football coach. And I think they got a good football coach. What Elko has done at Duke, and Duke is one of those teams that they're never going to win a national championship in football, and I think everybody knows that. I pray for the day that Vanderbilt figures out that they can be Duke in football. That's what they need to be. Being an academic institution, but have a decent football team. But that should be their goal. But you kind of have to know if you're Duke. Now, you had many, many good years with Cutcliffe and knew that he was happy there and he wasn't looking for the stepping stone. Anybody after that, that's what you are, and you have to understand that.
Yeah.
So they knew they weren't going to have Elko very long. I think he's a good football coach. A&M's a tough job, but I really like what they did there. And as the SEC is only going to get tougher now with Texas and Oklahoma coming in, but I certainly like that. And then Mississippi State hires Jeff Lebby, the Oklahoma offensive coordinator. Not so sure about that one.
No. I mean, again, I think Joe Rexford had a great point earlier this morning. It's like, now you got the Ole Miss offense, now you got the Tennessee offense, now you got, every other offense that's around, and what's new. I mean, I knew this guy's name, but I just think he was a head coach, and now he's a head coach, and State
Oklahoma hasn't torn it up lately.
No, and he was at UCF with Heupel. He was a high school coach. Heupel got it. He was an NAIA coach. Heupel got him, and you get the opportunity to take advantage of it. But I don't know. And Dr. Crane's a State fan. I don't know. Does that excite you? You're going to go out and buy season tickets?
No, sir. I mean, this is something that I feel like State fans are like, yes, like we have a head coach. This is going to be somewhat of an exciting year possibly. But to me, it's a short leash. Like if you don't produce 28 points per game and you're not winning 8 games a season, you're out of there in a season.
I know coaches, not everybody is going to be, the rah-rah huge hire, but I just think this guy did not come with a lot of fireworks.
No, he doesn't fit the personality in Mississippi, and the fact that he ran this RPO offense with Ole Miss in 2021, like, yeah, that's what Mississippi State has, but they just, it doesn't have that it factor of the quarterback standing out in that offense. And his offense is, like, what do you have? Like the guy from Oklahoma, what's his name? Drake. Forgetting his name, but yeah, like, come on, that's your high-quality quarterback coming into an offense like that?
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Now you got to find a new quarterback, too. And Rodgers in the portal?
Yes, he went into the portal, and Mike Wright, I think, is still there or is graduating, one or the other. I really don't know. It's all up in the air in Starkville. It really is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And then Michigan State hires Jonathan Smith from Oregon State. I had a feeling he was going to get another job, that he wasn't going to remain at Oregon State. I think that's a good hire. That's a tough situation, tough job. They're in the Big Ten, but I mean, look, Michigan State, you know they can win. We've seen it. So maybe Jonathan Smith can be the answer there. Obviously, the carousel is just beginning, going into conference championship weekend, and we'll have a lot of conference championship games for you. The Big Ten, the Big 12, Pac-12. It was the last Pac-12 after dark.
Done. Gone. Goodbye.
It's done. We'll have the Pac-12 championship, and then that's it.
Well, this is the Black Monday for college football. So, I mean, there's going to be more that'll happen. I mean, like the SEC again, not sure what's going to happen. In Florida, I think Beamer stays at South Carolina. I think they're not going to make a quick reaction, get rid of him. I think he stays.
How about
there.
Sam Pittman? They're going to keep him at Arkansas, it sounds
and
like.
Arkansas fans are not happy.
No.
I mean, that game, and then like Drinkwitz at Missouri. Somebody's got to go after him. I mean, he cannot sustain 10-2 at Missouri.
He's not going to be. I think he's going to end up. I tell you what, if Florida does move on from Napier, they might go with Eli Drinkwitz. That might be the move.
We shall see.
And I think personally, I think he's a little overrated, but he's. You got to give him credit this year.
Well, that's kind of rude because he said that you do a good job.
Well, I appreciate that.
So
I'm glad that you talked to all these coaches.
Yeah, I mean, big time.
Sources.
All the sources, yeah. So, hey, Coach Stoops, read this tweet we just got. All right, I'll pass on that job at A&M. No, but I think a lot. Yeah, Drinkwitz can't stay at Missouri. You're 10-2. If I told you at the beginning of the season that, hey, Missouri's going to go 10-2 and they're going to be a really good football team, you would have said, man, go home and take your medicine. But they've done a great job. And so, I don't know, do you bounce off of that? But where do you bounce to? I mean, right now, I'm not really sure. Maybe A&M, but that job's been full. You're not going to go to Duke. You're not leaving Missouri to go to Duke at all.
Speaking of coaching carousels, there's once again another report, and it involves someone we all know around here. We'll discuss that next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. He's Big Joe Dubin, Chase McCabe with you. Nick Frazier, Dr. Crane, as he is known as, with us as well. Coming up later in the hour, we'll have a chance for you to win a 4-pack of tickets to see the hottest team in hockey. The Nashville Predators take on the New York Rangers at Bridgestone Arena this Saturday. They've won 5 straight. Predators playing some great hockey right now. And so you have a chance to go see them this Saturday. So be listening for that. But some interesting things coming out over the weekend, and I feel like it's that season. Coaching rumors, coaching carousel in the NFL and college football. Frank Reich was fired as the head coach of the Carolina Panthers about an hour or so ago after their loss yesterday to the Titans here in Nashville. But it seems like this whole Mike Vrabel and New England Patriots thing just isn't going away. Also, there are rumors, people thinking that, Ryan Day, maybe it's time to move on from him in Ohio State, and Vrabel's name comes up. So it just, it's one of those, I guess, where there's smoke, could there be fire? This was from a column from Greg Bedard from the Boston Sports Journal. He's been covering the Patriots for a very long time, including back to when Mike Vrabel was a player there. And I'll read this entire quote that's been out there. Football and Other F Words put this out. I've seen it in other places. Quote, many believe that Vrabel was put in the position of being a strong head coach and wanted the hiring of Ran Carthon as GM. That is incorrect. That was a shotgun marriage by ownership. NFL sources believe the league had a heavy hand in owner Amy Adams-Strunk hiring Carthon, a top minority candidate. Vrabel and Carthon had no previous relationship, and it's believed that they don't have much of one now. There have been issues with Carthon's job performance even back to his 49ers days. League sources believe that Vrabel could be looking for a way to force his way out of Tennessee after this season, and the Patriots would be an obvious landing spot, if not the front runner. Could the Crafts trade Belichick to the Commanders, Chargers, or Panthers and then secure Vrabel? It's not out of the realm of possibility. That's from Greg Bedard.
It's the story that won't go away.
Yep.
It's just, it won't go away, and nobody's come out and said, no, this or that, or even I'm focused on my job. It's just an odd thing that it keeps coming up.
Well, and then Diana Rossini had the report now, of course, with The Athletic.
Oh, Lord.
She had the report that, that the Titans are not interested in trading head coach Mike Vrabel. That was her, that they're good with Vrabel. They want to hang on to Vrabel.
Right.
And nothing to see here. Quote, based on multiple conversations with high-ranking Titans officials, the franchise strongly and collectively believes it has the right coach for long-term success. That was written on Thanksgiving Day.
And that's the one where I retweeted and I said, this story written and brought to you by Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
And then a writer for The Athletic came to me and said, our stories are sourced and vetted by 2 different editors. And I'm like, it's a joke. Everybody got that it was a joke except for one person. And we all laughed about it. And that went on.
Well, and I think high-ranking officials are probably ownership.
Yeah,
that means Amy Adams-Strunk.
But we know, it's just that feeling we get that there's some sort of division between Ran Carthon and Mike Vrabel. There was just...
Well, he looks miserable. Like, even yesterday he looked miserable.
You know when it all started for me was that welcome Ran Carthon to the facility.
Yeah.
And they had a damn Broadway party for him, right?
Yeah.
I've never seen that for any other GM or head coach or anything ever. And the fact that Amy Adams-Strunk was so visible in that video, like, hey, look at me, look what we got, it was just odd. That entire meet and greet video was just odd. And now some of it kind of makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit makes sense right now.
I think it does. And, the other thing, too, is, like, I guess it was our group chat, Ricky asked, Has Ran Carthon done any kind of media availability since the season started? And I don't think he has.
No, but some have said GMs typically don't, and
and they don't. But John, I feel like John was a little more. Now he, as the years went by, he did a little less and less during the season. But John was always accessible.
I think the Byard trade, your GM should have came out and said something.
I agree.
Even for a statement, I think what Vrabel give a statement.
Yeah, he had a statement. He
But
was quoted.
come
in
out
that.
and say, look, here's what we're doing. And I think you owe it to your fan base. You don't owe it to us. You don't owe it to me, but owe it to your fan base to make a statement. He's done nothing.
Yeah.
And he does look miserable. I mean, it's odd. It's just very odd.
Well, because here's my thing. If Carthon had come in and during the offseason had traded Byard or traded Henry or whatever, I would have been like, okay, he has no connection to any of those guys. He has been, you thought that the job the previous GM was doing wasn't good enough. You got rid of him, and so you brought in this guy to do a better job. It's his prerogative now to build the team in his image, and that's fine. And if he had come in during the offseason and instead of asking Byard to take a pay cut, just traded him, it would have been a different conversation. Or been
Sure.
like, hey, that hurts. He's been a big community guy, Mayor of Murfreesboro, all those things, whatever. But you get it because it's like, okay, you're building the team in your image. The fact that you went through the whole pay cut thing and then you admitted that you went through the whole pay cut thing.
Right.
And then you just turn around and trade him mid-season anyway when you're trying – it kind of looks like you're about to go into a rebuild, and then that's the only move you make.
The only move you make, basically.
Then it's like, okay, what are you doing? And then you don't talk.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, that article, I mean, it's just, it won't die. It won't go away.
Right.
We keep seeing it the whole time. And look, and if Vrabel wants to go to Boston and coach it, that's fine. I mean, he played there for 8 seasons. I get it, okay? And he likes crap. That's fine. Just go, right?
Right.
But give us something.
Sure. And
Give us something.
Here's the tough part with all of this. And I know that like Jeffrey Simmons and Derrick Henry, they've been asked about it and they're like, we don't pay attention to that noise.
Right.
And that's fine. That's the thing that you're going to say as a player, but you do. And it is a distraction. And like I'm sure Vrabel's going to be asked about it today and he's going to be I'll defend him. From his standpoint, the team just won. Okay? Let's talk about the win. You want to focus on the win. You want to look ahead to the Colts. I get all that. But now you have to deal with this distraction, and you're going to get up there and you're going to say it's not a distraction, and it's all noise, and I'm committed and all that stuff. But it is a distraction.
Yeah.
And you have to deal with it. And he has to stand in front of his team and go, guys, I know there's these reports out there. I'm your head coach and yada, yada, yada. But it's just like that's the stuff that you have to deal with. It's just like Nick Saban saying, yeah, I'm the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. I'm not going to be the head coach of Alabama. 2 days later, I'm excited to be the head coach of the Crimson Tide.
I would I'm not going there today because I'm busy, but I would frame it to Vrabel like, any to comment on these rumors again and he'll blah, blah, blah. I'm like, then my follow-up would be, but why do you think this keeps coming up? And just see, and if he says whatever, at least you get some kind of answer from him. It might not be the answer you want, but you get some more to answer from him and do that. But again, if you want to go and after the season and see what happens but get something back. I mean, you want something back for him. I remember the last head coach you got was Gruden in 2000 after the 2001 season. So get all you can from it. And it's weird because the Patriots might have the number 1 pick.
I know, and that's the thing. Like, how bad do they want Vrabel?
But I think Kraft is such an egotistical little man that it wouldn't matter to him. He got who he wanted, and that's Vrabel. He got his Vrabel in
right.
there.
But again, like if I'm Vrabel, and okay, I'm going to go coach the Patriots, but you're trading the number 1 overall pick for me when I need a quarterback, like because they don't have one. So it's a tough position.
I've always told you, remember this, stay one step ahead of the jailer, right?
Yeah.
It's like Stoops going to A&M. I mean, he's securing his job at Kentucky, but, go get that 5-year extension. Stay one step ahead of the jailer. This all, the talk here with Vrabel, what's going on, go to New England, you get the 5-6 years, you're still one step ahead of the jailer. Now you can kind of figure your team out, and if I'm Vrabel, I say, here's exactly what I want. Boom, boom, boom. You get all those things that you want, who cares about the number 1 pick?
But do you think that – here's the other part, and this is the most important part of this entire conversation. Does Mike Vrabel want to be with the Tennessee Titans? And he's not – I can ask that. You can ask that. Paul Karski can ask that. He's not going to tell us. He's not going to answer that publicly, nor should he. But at some point, at the end of the season, Amy Adams Strong needs to fly in from Houston and look him in the eye and go, do you want to be the head coach of the Tennessee Titans? And he needs to answer it honestly. Ran Carthon does not need to ask him that question. Amy Adams Strunk needs to ask him that question.
I totally agree. Real quick, this really has no concern with us here, but it does a slight way. According to John Bryce, ETSU is going to hire Trey Lamb from Gardner-Webb to be their head coach. Now, John's reporting in this story, it says that sources told Football Scoop that ETSU, with veteran athletics director David Blackburn running point on the search, talked with Will Healy and former NFL head coach Jeff Fisher and myriad other candidates for the position. I don't know how far the talk went with Jeff Fisher, but the fact that he's mentioned the story, and John Bryce is really good with his reports and his sources. So it says he talked with Will Healy, former OSP coach, and former NFL head coach Jeff Fisher. Then they hired Trey Lamb, who's at Gardner-Webb, is also the target of Tennessee Tech's search. Now he's a head coach at ETSU. Weird.
Okay.
Welcome to the college football. Welcome to football, baby.
You know what? I'm just going to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't care about any of that.
The Jeff Fisher thing makes me laugh.
I know, but like whatever.
I mean,
I feel like his name randomly pops up with stuff.
Yeah, but that's just odd.
And he talked about it. He was in studio a few years ago and talked about learned compliance and
Yeah.
Wanting to move into the college ranks, and it just never happened.
That hurts my soul. You don't care. It's something I had to say. That's okay.
I care about you, but
I know, but part of that's me. It's okay. We'll talk.
Sorry.
We'll talk.
We'll
over the break.
We'll hug it out.
All
But
right.
what do you think? Mike Vrabel and the Patriots rumors, they will not go away. 615-737-1025. We'll have Jonathan Hutton join us at the bottom of the hour as well. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McKay, Big Joe Dubin. We'll have Predators tickets to give away here in a few minutes, so be listening to that. Our show presented by Regal Realty Group. Hey, be sure to join Robbie and Rexroad this Friday. They'll be broadcasting live for the grand opening of a new Dunkin' located in Franklin at 1441 New Highway 96 West. 102.5 The Game will be on site from 6 to 9. Stop by and have your chance to win lots of great prizes. Jason Big Joe here on a Monday talking Mike Vrabel and whether or not he would head to New England. It won't go away. Robert says, I definitely think there's something behind the Vrabel rumors. He looks miserable, and he probably does want out. I don't think people are just putting out these reports for no reason, especially since it all started after he went up there for his Patriot Hall of Fame speech. Maybe something was said to him by the owner. All right, here's what I'll say to that, Robert. Like, when stuff gets reported, it's getting reported. That's what that means. It's not just
Right.
Greg Bedard sitting down going, Mike Vrabel would be a good fit for the Patriots. I'm going to make something up that we're not Carissa Thompson here, okay? I'll say it. Like, they're not just making that up. Like, they're being told from reliable sources and they are checking those sources and confirming those reports, and then they're bringing it out to the public. So this is one of those things that there is some smoke here. Now, how much smoke, how much is it going to happen, or is it going to happen, however you want to put it, that has yet to be seen. There's stuff that gets reported all the time that turns out it is, that it was true, but it doesn't come to fruition.
And again, I mean, if we talk about the Patriots getting that number one pick, if they're that, because that's a bad football team. But if Vrabel gets his way, and if I'm Mike Vrabel and I'm like, I want 9 things and meet them all and I'll be there. If I get all 9 things, I don't care about the number one pick in the draft. I don't care because I've got everything that I want, and now I go forward. And I preach patience the first couple of years, and then you do that, and then you got carte blanche, do whatever you want. And Robert Kraft loves you and not worried about anything. So it's interesting to see, but again, the story just won't go away.
Yeah, and let me play devil's advocate here.
Play
too.
it.
I don't think it would be a horrible idea for both parties to maybe part ways and start over. I think Vrabel's a good coach. I don't think Vrabel's a great coach. And I think for a long time, and I'm just as guilty of this, we've painted him as a great coach. And the thing that they have to show for it is they went to an AFC Championship game.
Right.
What are you disagreeing with me? Or?
No. I'm just like I think he's a good coach.
I think he's a good coach.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a great coach.
No, I'm not disagreeing at all with you. It's just that the 18, you still got a lot of players from malarkey, and I get all that. But 19, you get all the credit. I don't hear like if you can play.
Yeah, and look what he did.
Get all the credit
in 20 with 91 players and all that. Like, he deserves credit for that. I 100%. I will not take anything away from him on that. Like, dealing with bad draft picks and COVID and injuries and all of that stuff. Like, he did a heck of a job. And deserved it, and deserved the Coach of the Year, and deserved the extension. But to me, like, to be a great coach, like, you got to have a championship or playing in a Super Bowl, or they lost an AFC title game. So
let me ask you this. So this is such a hypothetical that makes me laugh. Say Vrabel goes to New England, and you get all the draft, whatever, and Amy Adams is sitting there. All right, what do we do? What if she makes one phone call to a beloved former Titans coach?
The one that we just talked about?
That people now, revisionist history, you miss him because, he led the team in here, and you forget about the last 2 years, 09 and 10. What if she calls him? He'd get back in a heartbeat.
Oh, he couldn't get over there fast enough. But
and you got the stadium coming in, and now you got this. And, I mean, we talk about owners that meddle. She's chip off the old block with Bud. Who knows?
I mean, I think from, like, the media standpoint, they'd get ripped apart.
But I think for the fan base standpoint,
I don't know.
they wouldn't mind it.
how many of this is a fair question to ask. How many of those fans are still here and still fans?
Quite a bit. I'm telling you right now.
And then how many? Well, okay, but
Quite a
then
bit
how
of
many
them.
aren't?
Less than those that are. I'm telling you right now, Fisher is beloved. You can argue all day long. He is beloved.
Sure. I mean, like
And
he did a lot of really good things.
And people want to go back to remember those times, and all you think about is what happened in 99 and 2000, 02 and 03, and you can laugh about it. That's fine.
And guess who he has a connection to? Ran Carthon. He gave him a shot in L.A. with the Rams. So there is a connection.
I'm just telling you, man, we've seen weirder things happen in that. All right, so political candidates will send out a research team to gauge the pulse of things, right? Texas A&M, I think Texas A&M did it the other night with Stoops. Put it out there, gauge reaction, and go, do you float this out there with Fisher? There will be a few, no. There's going to be a lot of people who come back and say, you know what? Yeah, that's not a bad idea to take us to this new stadium. He knows how to coach. He's our guy. He's our guy. We grew up with him. He's our guy. We back Jeff. I'm just telling you, man. I can see
it would be interesting. I don't give it a chance, and you know what, of it happening. I don't think it will. But
when it does, I'm going to come to your house.
Sure, you
with the bull. I'm going to have Ricky drive. I'm going to lean out the car window with a bullhorn for hours and go up and down your little palatial mansion over there in Bellevue and just scream at all hours at you. Even Dr. Crane. Dr. Crane's going to be in the back seat yelling as well.
That's fine.
Do I at least get a Happy Meal?
Just make sure when the bullhorn goes off.
But could you imagine?
It doesn't scare him too much because he's a little jumpy.
I do. I get pretty jumpy. I'm not going to lie.
That's right. So, Ricky, take the day off. You're going to drive Dr. Crane and myself up and down Chase's Street, and I'm going to scream at you. I'm just saying,
Dean
man.
and Old Hickory, here we go. You are insane if you think the fan base wants Fisher back. Eye roll emoji. Terrible take, Big Joe.
No, that's not a take. I'm telling you right now, he's still beloved by a vast majority of Titans fans than the ones that don't like him. I'm telling you right now, he's beloved by the fan base.
Weston Hermitage, it's a hard pass on Fisher. Do not bring that man back. No way. No. New age, new era, no Fisher.
Here's one by Steve. Says, Joe, you're the greatest. I love what you do every day and talking about. I just made that up.
I was about to say, I don't see that one.
I love chaos, man, and that would be absolute chaos if that happens.
But where I was going with this is, if all this happens, and whether Vrabel goes to New England or L.A. with the Chargers or Carolina, whatever, my concern is that can this organization, and so it would be Ran Carthon and Amy Adams Strunk, do I trust them to go find somebody better? Because I've already acknowledged he's a good coach.
Yeah.
But you can do worse. And so
you can
see Ken Wisenhunt. You can do a lot worse. So my worry would be if you decide to move on, or Vrabel's like, I'm done, I want out of here. Can you go get better? Because that's ultimately going to be the goal, and there are some good candidates out there.
Well, let Ran Carthon do his job and find somebody he's compatible with, and go from there.
Give him a chance to do it,
and that would be one Jeff Fisher to come back and lead the team into the new stadium. I'm telling you, man, they gauge reaction. It happens all the time.
Well, I'm gauging the reaction coming through on the text line. 6809 says they will hire Fisher like they will hire Clark Lee. Jeff said, if you think bringing Jeff Fisher back would make Titans fans happy, you've lost your mind. I can't believe you even said that.
I'm saying it again. He is beloved by a large majority of this fan base.
Matt, no one wants Fisher back. Alex from Nashville, Fisher is going to be too busy with the new Nashville Cats arena team.
I can double dip.
Kevin, no, Big Joe, no. The game passed that dude by a long time ago.
All right, when Amy hires him,
but look, I love Jeff Fisher. I do. I want to get him in the studio, talk about the Cats and all this stuff.
Right.
Jeff is, you're right. He is.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but don't put it past her.
He is beloved. I don't put anything past her. That's why, you got me nervous now, because I don't think it's going to happen, but it's not crazy to think that she would do something crazy like that.
I think it would be a terrible hire. Right. But they're not asking you and I. I mean, she's going to gauge the public opinion we love him, and bring publicity back.
But see, where I disagree with you is I think the public opinion is they don't want him back.
Okay.
I think they want to remember him how he is. Like, those are good times.
Would you take
The
Jeff
early
Fisher
days?
or some coordinator for the 49ers?
I would probably take some coordinator for the 49ers.
You take Jeff Fisher.
I would take some coordinator for the 49ers all day long.
You'd be in the front row with a number 1 jersey on.
The mustache.
Cheering it on. Oh, my gosh, yes.
No. And
No,
somebody
I
go-
thought McGrath's a terrible hire, but look, you're trying to gauge and get positivity for your football team in the public eye.
Nashville Christian won't even hire Fisher. Well, hey, they got a good coach.
They got a damn good. I'd hire Jeff Brothers for
Yeah.
what most of the coaches in the NFL.
3024. How about Mike Munchak? Well, they need to bring him back to run the offensive line.
Correct. And Mike's good. He gave his all for football, and he's retired. Is he retired now? I think he stepped away. I think he did with the Broncos a few years ago. He's good, man.
We do love Jeff, but he got fired in the USFL. LOL. Come on, man.
No, I wasn't. No, he did. Yeah, right. But
forgot
because he
about
wore his hat backwards, that was why.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it'd be a terrible hire, but don't put anything past these owners. I'm reading this David Tepper story right now. He just fired his He took over the team in 2018. He just fired his 7th head coach. I mean, that's crazy. That's what the article said. Yeah, our buddy John McClain tweeted it out.
Well, let's see. Matt Rule, Frank Reich.
His 7th coach he'll fire after this interim coach. So it'll be number 7.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you count the interims.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Interesting. We'll ask Jonathan Hutton. I want you to ask Hutton this. Bring this up with Hutton. We'll
They're
do
big
that.
buddies.
We'll do that next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. I always think of the Simpsons episode with this.
I don't remember that one.
They find there's the blind guy and he's got weed and they go and they raid his house and everything, and it's the dog. They remember Lally or whatever, the other dog that Bart gets. And, yeah.
Was that same episode?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And like Wiggum's like, we need to bring pretzels. We need, and they like this starts playing and Lou's like, I love this song. Yeah,
I need to go back and watch that
yeah,
one.
it's a good one.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Efrain Jonathan Hutton from Outkick will get his thoughts on things, but yeah, people.
Our friend Captain Touchback on Twitter says, so we get Jeff Fisher back with the the pedophile mustache and the full graying beard. Which do we get? It's like, okay.
Well, I mean, we got to get the mustache.
Got to. He's got a diet too, man. Look like Turco.
3024 on text line says, Bum Phillips or Jeff Fisher, both about the same. Well, not quite, because Bum is no longer with us.
Bum is no longer with us.
Wade is. I mean, you could, because Dustin in Hopkinsville says, or no, 6'8", who just said this? Kevin says, hell, I'd take Wade Phillips before Jeff Fisher. What's Wade doing now?
He is.
Is he retired?
No. Yeah, he's retired, but he's consulting with the USFL, XFL. It's one of those.
6809 has requested your Jeff Fisher imitation.
Now you got me nervous. I can't do it. But that's Jeff waking up in the morning.
Dustin in Hopkinsville. Amy's a great person. Love her. Terrible owner. But I don't think we ever win a Super Bowl under the ownership unless she hits on an elite GM that tells her how it's going to be and has full control.
You know what's weird is that to that point, when I was watching the game yesterday, I keep thinking that's an away game because for years they wouldn't update the field. It's the worst field in the National Football League. It's like, and it always points down to like they wouldn't put money into it.
Yeah.
And
now it's turf.
Yeah. Now somebody's like, look, you got to do something to this field.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Hey, it's like, hey, we're going to spend money and we're going to put this turf in and then we're going to tear it down in 3 years and have the new stadium.
Right.
Is she going to go? Is she going to go to the people building the new stadium? Now we got this brand new turf field. Can we just pull that over to the new stadium?
You know they will. It's exactly what they're going to do with all that.
Could you just imagine seeing like all these dudes just dragging this field?
Don't think it won't happen, man. Don't think it won't happen at all. They'll get it done and do all that.
Oh man, I could just totally see that.
But no, I mean that's we laugh, but we don't make the decision, And what bubble does Amy Adams live in? I mean that's the thing is like we're out here. I mean, she's the owner. Right? She has people telling her what she wants to hear. I mean, it happens. It does. It happens. And do you give full control to your general manager who's much maligned now, evidently, with all that's going on, and let him make the choice? I mean, when you got more questions than answers, it's not good. And this franchise has a lot of drama around it right now. And it's had for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where this is going. I know that, things have got to obviously change. You can tell. I mean, I'm curious. Mike Vrabel's going to speak in about an hour. What his demeanor is going to be, if this is going to come up. I'm sure it will. I mean, I feel like it has to. Somebody's got to ask about it.
Yeah, I mean, and they will, and they'll get it out there. And if I'm Vrabel, I'm like, hey, man, I haven't heard anything. I'm coaching my team right now, whatever is going on, and I'm here. You'll get the standard reply, which is better than nothing. I mean, it's got to be asked.
How I would ask is like if I was going over there today, and I'm not. I don't cover the team on a daily basis. I sit and talk about it.
Okay.
If I was going over there, I would go, Mike, the reports continue to link you to New England. How do you deal with this distraction, and what do you tell your team?
It would be better if you do it in that Patriots helmet we have in the office.
Just wear red, white, and blue.
If you can wear that throwback Patriots helmet to the press, oh my God, Chase, that'd be the greatest. Are they going to stop you? Is
Yes.
Robbie going to make you take the helmet off?
Robbie would be like, "What the hell are you doing?"
So it's the Oakland Patriots. I'm a big fan. They're going to the state championship game on Saturday night, and it's a throwback helmet. But that'd be the best, the absolute best.
Is there a Mr. Football award for an Oakland player by chance? 'Cause that'd be
yeah.
a good loophole.
I think Dwayne Morris.
There you
Miller, I
go.
think
Chase
up
is
for it.
wearing it for Dwayne Morris.
Yeah.
There you go.
So he's asking for the Mr.
Or is
Football,
it
but
Dwayne
also
Miller? Anyway, Dwayne,
Question.
the running
That's
back
good.
for Oakland. Yeah, let's do that.
The running
Wear that
back for
helmet over
Oakland.
there. Yep.
Andy, give me Jimbo before Jeff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
How about that? Could you see Jimbo just like he's going to make $76 million no matter what he does because there's no offset? Like he
Is
just
there
like,
not? I read somewhere he can't coach. I mean, if he coaches, he loses. Is that right?
I don't
know.
think that's right.
Okay.
I read that there's not that it's basically like he's getting paid no matter what.
Okay. Good for Jimbo.
But he could. But I think especially like what if he jumped to the NFL? Well, I mean, I think it'd be terrible.
Yeah.
But like, how funny would that be? Like, I'm getting paid $76 million. I'll go try this.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, nobody wants him anyway.
I mean, if I'm him, I'm gonna go play golf. And
I mean,
do whatever.
$76 million,
Right.
and I still beer out of his refrigerator. Yeah. I was 19 years old. I was like, whatever. Jimbo's got beer in his refrigerator. I would go over there and take beer out of his refrigerator. Where'd my beer go? I don't know.
Didn't you send him a letter for your Christmas party?
I should have. Yeah, he sent me something back too. It's give me a one
You
finger
should
salute.
invite him. You should invite him on the show.
Yeah.
I'd love to talk to him.
He ain't coming on any show.
No.
Well,
Joe, good to hear from you, man. But
Yeah, no, he ain't doing that. Not at all. But can you imagine? I mean, so you figure probably end up with half of that. Jimmy Sexton gets a part of that, the agent, and now.
Yeah.
So Jimbo probably walks away after taxes, $35 million, free and clear, after making $9 million the last couple of years. It's just, I don't know. It's so crazy to know that moment you had with him on the practice field and the team, and now you see all that going on. It's hard to comprehend everything that went on with him. It is.
yeah,
I mean, late nights in Birmingham having a good time. Those were the days.
that'll be in your book.
That won't be in any book. Nobody wants to read that.
6809 says, seriously, why doesn't someone look at Vrabel and say, nobody is scared of you, you arrogant a-hole?
That's a good question.
No, he'd probably
not
go, what is your question?
I mean, are you scared of anybody?
Um,
Is there anybody you fear? I mean, I fear the Lord, okay?
Yeah,
I fear
sure.
the Lord. But do
Yeah.
you fear anybody?
no,
Anybody scare you?
not really.
Me neither.
No.
No,
I mean, Mike Vrabel does not scare me, no.
I fear failure. That's
Sure.
why we bust our tails every day.
Sure.
But as far as a person, I don't.
Look, Vrabel can be intimidating. Like, I think being intimidating and scared or scary are
Yeah.
two different things.
To some, I mean, I don't. Do you get intimidated?
Not really. Not anymore. I think I did early on. Like
Well, I guess
anybody would.
Ed Werder intimidated you.
Yes, he did.
He did.
Oh, that
my
was a great
friends, I
story.
wish I would have recorded Chase calling Ed
It was
Werder
right
to
here in this room.
come on the show. You're like, hey, this Chase
Mr.
McKay-
Werder.
Yeah, Mr. Werder's Chase McKay from 102.5 The Game. It's like that voice on The Simpsons that always, that young kid voice. Oh, man.
You like had to walk in the other room. You
I
were
was
laughing so
crying. It's better than one time Willie told me to book some guests on the show, and Willie's like, hey, did you get so-and-so? I'm like, nah, I called. He didn't answer, and I didn't call the guy at all. And then Mitch Light's like, hey, I know that guy. I'll call him right now. He calls and was like, yeah, nobody's reached out to me today. And I'm like, oh, well, Willie, sorry about that. I'm a big fat loser. I apologize, man.
you want to
goodness.
give some tickets away?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. A 4-pack of tickets to see the Predators take on the New York Rangers at Bridgestone Arena this Saturday. It's a can't-miss event, the perfect time to celebrate with your friends, family, and your Smashville family in gold. Join in on the fun and help celebrate the 25th anniversary season and 25 years of Smashville. You can get tickets at NashvillePredators.com/tickets, or you can be caller number 4. 615-737-1025. Caller number 4, 615-737-1025 will win a 4-pack of tickets to see the Preds, the hottest team in hockey right now, 5 in a row, take on the New York Rangers and Peter Laviolette at Bridgestone Arena this Saturday Caller number 4, 615-737-1025. We'll discuss much more and celebrity birthdays coming up next. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Well, Sinatra bringing us back here on a Monday. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
We need to have that Christmas party down at that Sinatra bar downtown.
We do.
Our show. Dr.
Our
Crane.
show. Okay. I mean, we're having a Christmas party at a pretty good place.
Oh, yeah, great place. But
Yeah.
our little, just a gathering for our little, our triumvirate of guys here.
Heard they have good
Crane.
fettuccine.
Do they?
That's what I've been told.
All right, well,
Very rich in flavor.
put it on your tab, and then we'll see what happens.
It might bounce.
We'll get to celebrity birthdays here in just a few minutes. Again, resetting some things that Frank Reich has been fired as the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, and I think we all agree that that's probably it for him when it comes to head coaches.
He
What?
won't get a third chance.
No. Well, and I was trying to think of like, all right, what NFL coaches have had more than 2 chances? Wade Phillips is one.
Yeah.
Cowboys, Texans, Bills. Obviously, he was the head coach of the Bills with Music City Miracle.
That's right.
I feel like I'm actually missing one.
Lovie Smith?
I mean, for Wade Phillips. Lovey,
He coached no, not the Broncos. Never mind.
Bears, Texans for a year. No, he went to Illinois.
That's right. It was a
Yeah.
college team.
What Parcells had, Patriots, Jets, Cowboys,
Giants.
Giants. Yeah.
So he had like 4, but he
Yeah.
was a Super Bowl winner. Shanahan had 3.
Redskins, Broncos, and
Raiders.
that's right. Got fired and they hired Art Shell. That's right.
Yeah. John Fox. Panthers, Bears, Broncos.
Fox says that's a good one.
Was Gary Kubiak? Gary Kubiak was Texans and Broncos.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
There's a few.
There's
That-
a few.
that-
Yeah,
that
sure.
three.
Ron Rivera is currently at 2.
Panthers and the Redskins, plus a Super Bowl ring from the Bears
Yep.
in '85. I'm sure there's Pete Carroll's had 2.
2. Patriots and Seahawks.
Correct. Oh, we go all day on this, but
Well,
4.
it's fun,
Parcells had 4. That's right.
Yeah, I mean he's probably
Even the great Vince Lombardi had 2.
who was his second?
Redskins. And he passed away of cancer like 1 or 2 years into it. Joe- Shula had 2. Colts and the
Yeah. Colts and then the Dolphins.
Dolphins.
I would assume Parcells is the most.
Got it. Dan Reeves, Broncos, Giants, Falcons.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Well, Belichick's only 2 technically.
Well, I mean, you consider he was a coach of the Jets for a day.
Yeah, for like a day. Well, BP said Pete Carroll if you count USC. I'm just talking NFL jobs.
NFL jobs.
Yeah. Jimmy Johnson had 2.
Yep. Dolphins and
Cowboys and Dolphins.
that famous joke by Jeff Ross. He's like, "Hey Jimmy, the Dolphins want their deposit back."
Oh, you know what? Colin's right, but Pete Carroll coached the Jets, didn't he?
I don't think so.
Was he not?
I don't think so. I think Pete Carroll just did the Patriots.
I know because Belichick replaced him with the Patriots. Let's see if Colin's right. Where Colin was right, where Colin was wrong. Survey says he was. He was the head coach of the Jets in '94.
Was he?
He was.
For
And
what, one game?
I don't know.
Didn't
I don't know
that.
if it was a whole year or not.
This is true, Joe. It was 94.
But he took over. Belichick took over for Parcells with the Patriots. My head hurts.
All right. National football, here we go. In '94, Carroll was elevated to the head coach of the Jets. The Jets got off to a 6-5 start under Carroll, but in Week 12, he was the victim of Dan Marino's clock play, the fake spike.
Yes.
The Jets lost all of their remaining games to finish 6-10, and he was fired after 1 season.
So when was he at the Patriots, right?
He went to the Patriots
97.
97, yeah.
Wow. And that's what he did the famous
Because he
choke.
left, remember, he was the defensive coordinator with the 49ers 95 and 96.
My head is hurting from all this. But I remember Carroll did the kicker missed it, and he did the choke thing
Yeah.
on the sidelines, and it was like, yeah. Then he went to USC and then got out of town when they got under probation because
Right.
of him.
And he's been with the Seahawks since 2010.
All right. You
So
know what it's
there you
time
go.
for?
It is time for celebrity birthdays. Hit it. Dun, 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 dun. There it is.
All right.
Celebrity birthdays presented by Zach Pillar. He'll be with us tomorrow and his new Instagram account. Follow Zach on Instagram at Zach Pillar Design 69 and step into his world. I've had people tell me that because of him coming on the show, they've been following his Instagram account and
Love
telling
it.
people about it. So
We love Zach Pillar. All right, first birthday. We got ready. Chase, you're up first. You ready?
I'm ready.
First birthday today is TV personality Bill Nye, the science guy.
Ooh. 71.
Man, probably 78. I remember watching those in 3rd grade.
68. Maybe you
That was
watched
close.
it in 10th grade. Actor Fisher Stevens.
Fisher had to come up again.
That's right.
What is Fisher Stevens in?
He was in the TV show, the movie Short Circuit. He dated Michelle Pfeiffer. I think, was he in Succession or one of those shows? I don't know.
62.
67.
60.
Okay, I'm on the board.
Actress Robin Givens, Mike Tyson's ex-wife. Robin Givens.
58.
62.
59. Chaser's up 2-0. Chaser. Urkel, Jaleel White. Did I do that?
Like Urkel. 55.
I'm going to go a little lower. I'm going to go 49.
47.
Well done.
2-1. Chaser on top right there. Next birthday up is actor William Fichtner. He was in the TV show Mom. He played the shuttle pilot in Armageddon.
Yep. I know who exactly who you're talking about.
Great actor.
Underrated.
Yep. Was in the
59.
Perfect Storm.
Yep.
59. All right.
56.
67.
Really? He didn't look it.
Oh, he doesn't. Jazz musician Maria Schneider.
Not Maria Shriver.
Maria Schneider.
42.
54.
63. Come on, y'all.
I have no idea who that is.
Well, you know what? Maybe she didn't. Okay. Rapper Twista. Rapper Twista.
Say his name one more time.
Twista.
43.
Twista? Is that like from the 80s rappers, 90 rapper? I mean, you go out on a limb here. I'm going to go like 58.
51. Rapper Scoob of Das EFX. Rapper Scoob.
39.
Come on, Joe.
That's not my fault.
44.
He is 53. All right, last one here. You got to get this one. Booger from Revenge of the Nerds. Curtis Armstrong was also in the TV show Moonlighting. How old is Booger from Revenge of the Nerds?
64.
69.
70. We're tied at
Nice.
2. Do I have one more in here to give out? Okay, one more, real quick. The drummer for Anthrax, Charlie Benanti. Charlie Benanti of Anthrax. How old is he today?
52.
Charlie, what are we doing here? We're going 56.
Oh, he's 61. You guys tied. Well done, though.
By the way, Scotty from Dixon makes a good point, talking about NFL coaches that have had more than 2 opportunities. Technically, John Gruden, because he had 2 different stints with the Raiders and then the Bucks.
Okay,
So I think that counts.
maybe.
I mean, he was out of the league for like 10 years and then
Was.
came back. So
Sure.
I think
Okay.
that counts. Mike Vrabel going to speak to the media coming up at 11:30. Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace will have their breakdown of the game and the win yesterday. The Predators' 5-game winning streak. That is all ahead here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
It is. And to our guys out there today, remember, if you're struggling, please reach out and talk to somebody. 988 on your cell phone. Please call that number if you need to talk to somebody. Those there to talk to you and let you know that you're loved. And again, I tell you every time, our world's a better place, but you guys are here. So if you're struggling, please reach out and talk to somebody. We love you guys.
Amen.